Science is a vocabulary-intense subject that is dependent on students learning new and increasingly complex vocabulary to deepen understanding and help make the connections between and among concepts. The more opportunities students have to interact with the vocabulary, the better they comprehend the concepts.
A Realia wall is a vocabulary-rich resource where scholars know they can look at it to check if they need help with vocabulary. It helps the scholars build their background knowledge and connects their learning to things that they already know. It's much more interactive and engaging than a regular word wall that just has the words listed. For example, in my class, scholars were able to interact with the objects before we hung them up on the wall.
The one that you put in your mouth and it'll take your temperature?
Today in class, I had the kids sit in a circle with different tools and objects in the middle. I had them partner up, and they were able to observe and investigate the tools with their partners and discuss what they thought the tools were and what they were used for. Friends, today, we get to investigate some new tools. We get to observe with our eyes and our hands and think about what these tools could be used for in the world. I have some sentence stems on the board back here that could help you if you get stuck when you're talking with your partner. Before scholars talked with their partners about each object, I introduced the sentence frames and had them read each one with me. These are some sentence stems you can use if you get stuck talking with your partner about our new tools. Read them with me. I see a. I think it is used for. I notice. It reminds me of. This is a. It is. It has. And. Sentence frames provide scholars with a scaffold for using academic language. Sentence starters are similar because they provide the framework to begin a sentence. Sentence frames are critical because they provide the structure for a complete sentence. After they picked up the objects, they were able to discuss with their partner what they thought the objects were and describe what they were seeing.
See a thermometer?
It was really cool to hear them connecting what they already knew with what the object was in front of them.
I think it's used for to put it in your mouth and see what's your temperature. I think this is maybe for coffee.
Some of the scholars thought that the hand warmer was a tea bag or something that you would make coffee with. So it was an interesting misconception. It was really cool to see them think through after observing that it was something warm and they knew that it had to do with weather.
It's hot and kind of warm. I see that it must be helping you when you're in the cold. And it must be called a hand warmer because it's really, really warm right now.
After the scholars investigated and observed the objects with their partners, I brought them back together as a class and had a couple of scholars share about each object. Is this one? Silent hands if you would like to share what you and your partner said about this tool.
I think that is something when you're at the doctor and you're sick.
This gave scholars an opportunity to share their thinking with the class and gave scholars who may not have known what each object was an opportunity to hear about what the object did and its name to give them that new vocabulary. This measures the temperature of the air. The temperature of the air. All right, so we're gonna add it up to our word wall. It's a thermometer. The Realia wall is a really helpful tool, especially for scholars who don't speak English at home. These vocabulary words can be a little bit trickier for them. So a normal word wall would just have the word on the board. The Realia wall pairs that real object with the word and makes it more accessible for scholars.
Realia walls are most effective as a classroom resource when they are maintained and updated regularly as part of the learning. Combining teaching strategies like a Realia wall and sentence frames helps students learn and comprehend new vocabulary.
The purpose of sentence frames is to provide English language learners the structure and the vocabulary that they wouldn't be able to produce on their own. Some of the examples of sentence frames we used were "it is," "it reminds me of," "I think that it is used for." What do you think it is and what do you think it's used for? Check the board to use our sentence stems. Okay, Isa.
I see a clock. I think it is used for a wall.
The sentence frames help guide the conversation and provide scholars with a scaffold to build that complete sentence. It was so much fun investigating these new tools with you today. We will use these tools while we go through our weather.
When planning a lesson and determining which frames to introduce to students, the key is to think about the language and ultimately what you want students to be able to produce. Model that language explicitly and often, and make the language visible.
I love being a teacher because of the relationships I get to build with kiddos. It's really neat when you see a kid get it. You can see on their face and the excitement they have when they know that they're learning and their brain is growing.